Australian Championship.
Shot up the post and in. Continue to make history.
This rivalry burns as bright as ever.
That is just spectacular. It's incredible. Fairy tale.
Match day 5 in the Australian Championship, and it's crunch time for one of the competition's foundation clubs. Sydney Olympics' return to the national spotlight has been nothing short of a roller coaster ride, with dramatic moments and spectacular goals aplenty. But after stoppage time heartbreak in the Hellenic Derby last week, they're left with just 3 points from their opening 4 games. A win this afternoon would draw them level with second-placed Moreton City Excelsior heading into the final match day. A loss sees them eliminated on the spot, and the visitors all but through. A draw would leave their quarter-final hopes hanging by a thread. Sydney Olympics' only win so far came away at Perry Park against Moreton City, with the now weekly worldie from Ali Orgler followed by a slalom run from Michael Vackas and a wrestling-inspired celebration. Will they pick up their second victory this afternoon? Let's check in with the mood at Jubilee Stadium with our man on the sideline, Adrian Archuli.
Well, the heat is on quite literally here at Jubilee Stadium today. Temperatures in excess of 30 degrees. I'm already sweating here, and it's a massive game on the pitch. Sydney Olympics simply must win to keep alive their hopes of reaching the quarterfinals. Now, vote in the poll. Scan the QR code and vote for who you think is going to win today. And I've got some amazing Sydney Olympic fans here. We all know who they're voting for. Who are you guys voting for? Olympics! Pretty simple. Tune in. It's going to be an absolute cracker.
Thank you to Adrian. The young Sydney Olympic fans in fine voice this afternoon. Let's see what the team can do. Moreton City, meanwhile, have their eye in after a dismantling of Broadmeadow Magic in round 4. Excelsior trailed following an error from Nathan Foster, but quickly rebounded through stunning goals from Joseph Scott and Kaitatsu Kajima, then running over the top of their short-handed opponents in the second half, running out 5-1 winners. That sees them second in Group A. South Melbourne already through with 4 wins from 4, and Sydney Olympic, as you can see, desperately needing to make up the ground today. Elsewhere, Avondale topping Group C. West Apia, after last night's win over Sydney United, are temporarily top of Group D. We'll see what Bayswater City have to say about that when they face Metro Stars. Well, to the team news, and there are 2 enforced changes to Labano Haliti's starting lineup this afternoon. Midfielder Chris Donnell is suspended after picking up his 3rd yellow card of the group stage. And Ziggy Gordon, who was looking worse for wear towards the end of the South Melbourne game, misses out through injury. Ali Orgler captains the side in his absence, while Seth Clark comes into the midfield and youngster Samuel Bosniak into the heart of defence. Jack Armson has been recalled to the matchday squad and starts among the substitutes today. We can see the Sydney Olympic lineup now. It'll be a 4-4-2 with Cyrus Demi and Gloria Amanda up top. Seth Clark now partnering Josh Hong in the centre of midfield. Dangerous wingers in Ali Orgler and Ryan Fuchs, who will be eager to make up for his misses last week against South Melbourne. Samuel Bosniak, you can see, big shoes to fill in the heart of defence, replacing Ziggy Gordon. For the visitors, just the one change, and it's a 19-year-old Jamie Waddington replacing Dylan Meineke in the heart of the back 4. Still no place for Pengelly in the lineup despite his fine brace off the bench last week. Look out for Seita Murai, the number 10, and Joe Scott, the striker, who netted a superb free kick. Keitatsu Kajima will look to cut in from the left-hand side. Jackson Courtney Perkins providing width from the right. There's goals everywhere in this Moreton City Excelsior side. They are the top scorers in the Australian Championship of teams who are not top of their pool. So 9 goals so far. Plenty of firepower for the visitors, the premiers from Queensland. My name is Josh Parrish. I'm delighted to have alongside me today on the call, as always, Scott McDonald. Scott, so much on the line this afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Josh. This is the business end of this competition now. We're in round 5, and this is where it starts to heat up. Massive, massive game for Sydney Olympic and Moreton, to say the least, today. Really looking forward to this one. It's a must-win for Sydney Olympic, and they need to come out the blocks really, really fast. But like you said, Moreton City Excelsior, plenty of goals in this team, and what should be an exciting match, Josh. We look forward to this one.
Well, we know when the stakes are raised, Sydney Olympic can rise to the challenge. They've got the quality in the team. It hasn't quite clicked for them so far. They have beaten Moreton City Excelsior in their previous meeting, of course. And one way or another, they've been exciting contests when Sydney Olympic's been involved. High-scoring affairs, goals from outside the box. Ali Orgler, the top scorer in the Australian Championship with 4 goals in his last 4 games. He scores one every week, usually from outside the box, or in the case of his goal last week, a brilliant solo run and finish at the near post. And a big responsibility for him today, wearing the captain's armband.
Yeah, absolutely. He's been in absolute fine form. You know, one that's certainly taken the attention in this Australian Championship, and one that Moreton City Excelsior have to be very, very careful of, as they well know in the first game as well against them, you know, getting the victory there. But you know, that goal that he scored last week against South Melbourne to get them off and running and leading was a wonderful solo finish, and they'll be looking for more of that. But there's plenty of talent on show today from both sides, isn't there? So a lot of individual talent, and really looking forward to seeing what both teams bring today.
There's Labano Haliti, the head coach of Sydney Olympic. Last week he surpassed Grant Lee to become the second longest serving coach in the club's history, behind Manfred Schaefer. I think some of the Olympic fans would be quick to point out he's the only name on that list that hasn't won anything yet, so a bit of pressure on him today to keep their Australian Championship hopes alive. And there's Cam Miller, now the competition's youngest coach after the departure of Max Clark at South Hobart. He's only 31 years of age. His 3rd season in charge. He's led them to 2 second-place finishes and now a premiership in NPL Queensland. A brilliant young coaching talent. Today's referee is Jock Quartermain from Ballarat in Victoria. Refereeing runs in his family. His brother William is also an NPL referee. Also among the officials today, assistant referees Alessandro Lana and Seb Ruskin. The 4th official is Matt Staples. Just about ready to go here, Sydney Olympic in the famous all-blue. Moreton City Excelsior in the infamous bruised banana kit, Arsenal-inspired from the 90s, of course. The kit that they wore when they famously upset Perth Glory in the Australia Cup. And they're ready to kick off here, the visitors, from right to left. Joseph Scott over the ball. And Moreton City get us underway at Kogarah in a match that will dictate who progresses from Group A. South Melbourne already through. Who will join them? We'll face the leaders of Group C in the quarterfinals, looking most likely to be Avondale at this point. Looks to be quite blustery conditions, judging by how the ball's holding up in the breeze, Scott.
Yep. Look to see if that takes its toll in the game at all, if it's a game of 2 halves or not as we get on.
It's going to be no free kick here. I thought the whistle was about to go. Jock Quartermain had a good old long look at it. But Gloria Amanda doesn't get the whistle he was expecting. This is the first half of our Super Saturday doubleheader, live and free here on SBS. South Melbourne versus Broadmeadow Magic coming up later this afternoon at Lakeside. They're another team that needs to win today. Broadmeadow Magic. And South Melbourne are sitting pretty. This is Orgler, the man on fire. Rolls it back for Zoricic. Moreton City avoid the concession of the corner. Sydney Olympic maintain control. Bosniak spreads the play out to Fuchs. Looks to go by his man, Ryan Fuchs. One of two Kiwis in the starting lineup for Sydney Olympic today, alongside Seth Clark, who's on the ball now. Looking for a gap, but it's picked off by the Moreton City captain, Declan Smith, and they go the other way. Piercing ball through, and Bosniak has some cleaning up to do. He's given it away. Moreton City almost in for the game's first opportunity, but for Tenquol. Another good challenge won high up the park. Joseph Scott loves it on his left boot, but it's a comfortable stop for Jack Gibson on this occasion. Early scare here for Sydney Olympic. Back underway quickly. Flicked on towards Amanda. And then Demi giving away the free kick. Shoving the back on Harry Arneson. There it is there, or just an arm across him.
Yeah, no questions there. Good call from the referee. It will be interesting to see, obviously, tactically how both teams go against each other. Sydney Olympic playing, that flat 4-4-2, try and press from the front.
Well, and the presses pay dividends here, and Amanda could be in, and Sydney Olympic lead inside 4 minutes.
Well, that's just the start. Sydney Olympic wanted. Question marks though, Josh. I'd like to see it again, whether or not that was a foul. Moreton City Excelsior not happy with the referee on that one. But like I was talking about, that high press from Sydney Olympic pays off. And Amanda, first time of asking, wonderful finish.
Demi who won it, and Gloria Amanda who finished it. He's second in Sydney Olympic colours, a new signing for the Australian Championship, and he's delivered.
I have to say, Josh, for me all day long, Moreton City Excelsior will feel harshly done by there. Cyrus Demi's absolutely nowhere near the ball. It's been protected. I think it was Arneson that tried to come for the ball there, or Sayers, one of the two. And he's just come through the back of him without really taking any of the ball whatsoever, and the referee waves play on. Interesting decision for me. We see that a lot at certain levels where people come through the back of them, fouls aren't given, and that's a great instance of that happening once again.
Flicked on towards Amanda again. He's been very bright in the early exchanges. Canadian cuts it back to the top of the box. Only cleared as far as Josh Hong, the former Moreton City player, facing his former side today. Orgler cuts past one. Waddington diving in and winning it back. Great challenge from the 19-year-old.
It's the perfect start for Sydney Olympic, though. It's what their manager would have been absolutely praying for and wanting after the disappointment of losing out to South Melbourne so late on in that game for big chunks of that game as well. Probably on top and the better side, leading 1-0 throughout it. Would have been difficult to pick his troops up again after that disappointing result. And it's just the start and the spark that they needed.
We'll go direct here, and Gibson steps outside his 18-yard area to volley clear. Very confident facing into the sun. Well, Moreton City were in this exact position just last week, copping the early goal inside 5 minutes. But they steadied themselves and they were ahead by the 17-minute mark. Be tougher today away from home against NPL New South Wales opposition.
Will be interesting as well to see how Sydney Olympic cope with the loss of Ziggy Gordon at the back. fantastic leader, was wonderful last week, you have to say. Getting his head on everything, blocking shots. Bosniak has big shoes to fill today.
Advantage paid. Olympic have started the first half with real physical intensity here.
We see again Kitatsu Kojima coming in off the line. He likes to do that a lot, try and overload that midfield, try and create that box midfield for Moreton City.
Early ball forward for Orgla. Little back heel from Demi. Orgla trying to create an angle. He went to ground rather easily there. And Jock Quartermain, understandably, uninterested. Hong for Zoricic. And then a wrestling match going on between Arneson and Orgla. And tempers flaring at Kogarah. It's going to be a Moreton City free kick. Orgla felt he was fouled, but it looked like a rugby tackle on the replay.
Yeah, Arneson gets the ball just first. So Orgla just tries to nick it away. Right decision. As you mentioned there, Josh, that ball from Foster just holding up in the air.
Big responsibility for Sam Bosniak today. 21-year-old filling in for vastly experienced Ziggy Gordon. Courtney Perkins. Arneson. Sayers. Arneson tried to pick a gap that wasn't there. Orgla. Is there a flag against Amanda? He always looked offside. Well, it gives us a chance to go down to the sideline and check in with Adrian Archuli. What's the temperature on the Moreton City bench after that controversial opener?
If there was a extreme fire warning for today, I think it would be the highest gauge rating possible, because they were. It was just funny beforehand. The Olympic coaching staff were asking the referee to use his whistle. And then proceedingly, 20 seconds later, the referee probably should have used his whistle and did not, and it was to their advantage. So it was quite common. I'm sitting right next to both benches. But yes, it's been very tempestuous to start so far. I'm not sure what I know this is the Jubilee Stadium, the second home of the St George Illawarra Dragons, but there was a rugby tackle before. So we've had it all to start here. But massive game as well in terms of the permutations. And they know they have to win, and they're really showing it so far. And Moreton, obviously, it's a bit taken aback by it, but they're slowly working their way into it. And I think we're really set up for an absolute classic here today, guys.
Zoricic applying the pressure. Goal kick. Thank you, Adrian.
Stuck right in the middle of it there. It'll be pretty noisy down there, I would imagine, today.
You listen carefully, you can just about hear the screaming coming from both benches.
I've heard it all before, Josh. You remember, I have stood on that touchline next to, Cam Miller. So there's a lot to be said.
Who was the?
Not all bad, not all bad. Don't take it that way. But yeah, the Jack in a Box for sure.
Who had better control of their emotions on the sideline, you or Cam?
I'll leave that for others to decide.
Gibson declared. Well, the whole front four would have been offside. And there's a bit of complaints about the service from Jack Gibson from Ryan Feuds, it looked like. O'Toole stepping in to win it. There's a Falcon. And then Demi couldn't chase it down.
Interesting to see how Sydney Olympic go as the game goes along. You felt they probably went into protective mode too early in the game last weekend against South Melbourne Hellas. If they had have kept on that front foot, just like they did after they conceded the equaliser last week, potentially could have been home and dry. So if you're Haliti on the bench, you kind of want them to still be on that front foot and try and get another goal here.
Kojima. Scored the go-ahead goal last week against Broadmeadow Magic. Lovely pass for Scott, but no way past Zoricic. Cam Miller prowling the edge of his technical area at the moment, kicking every ball. Kojima slips it through the gap for Morai. Went down belatedly, but was clipped by Tenquol. Seita Morai. There's one key man still missing for Moreton City. That's Kenshin Takagishi, who was in the NPL Queensland Team of the Year in the heart of midfield. Scored 7 goals for Moreton City this campaign. Set-piece specialist, so they're missing his influence.
Yep, had an excellent season, Josh. A leader on the pitch as well. Likes to take the ball in tight areas. Was a huge threat in front of goal. And like you said, set-piece specialist. Was excellent in key moments of the season for Moreton City.
Sydney Olympic up in arms because the free kick wasn't taken from the correct position, and Jock Quartermain agrees. There's Harry Arneson, who spent a season down in Victoria with the Oakley Cannons. Comes from a footballing family. His dad, Paul, played for Carlisle United and Hartlepool, among others. And it's actually his father's friend, Michael Bridges, who helped him find a club when he emigrated to Australia in 2013, ended up playing for Sunshine Coast, which is where Harry Arneson's journey started as well. So a dual national Harry Arneson, both English and Australian citizenship. Another late challenge flying in. Ogler has to be careful he doesn't talk his way into the book, or tackle his way in there either.
Yeah, not too much in that.
Said a Moreton City player anticipating the contact. Sayers looking out Arneson. Now it's Kojima with the centering ball for Morai. Morai not on the same wavelength as Courtney Perkins, making the run ahead of him. I'm liking some of the little interchanges and movements we're seeing from Moreton City on the attacking end, though. Just haven't borne fruit quite yet.
Yeah, it's how they like to play. It's just not really connected in that final third yet. Mid-third, it seems to be breaking down a lot. And just when they've been pressed a few occasions as well from Sydney Olympic, they've broke down in that defensive third, and none more so than obviously the goal itself.
And it is a danger when you concede early against a team like Sydney Olympic, who can exploit open space so effectively through those 4 runners they've got up top.
But they did it very, very well, you know, in the first game against Moreton City, didn't they? Scored early and then managed to catch them on the counter later on in the game as well.
Smith with a pinpoint switch of play out to Murphy. This is Kojima, toes it for Morai. Scott and Courtney Perkins getting involved. Morai, quick ball out to Murphy. And he was offside when he really shouldn't have been. Another youngster for Moreton City, James Murphy, just 20 years of age. He's that offside decision again, and you can see Sydney Olympic holding that line pretty disciplined. Landy Pengelly made some comments in an interview during the week. He didn't feel that NPL Queensland was that far off New South Wales. He did put Victoria in a different category based on his experience of playing against South Melbourne. The record across Australia Cup, Championship and NPL National Finals stands at New South Wales with 9 wins and Queensland with 3. It's involving top flight sides only. Queensland still has a bit of catching up to do.
Yes, Josh, you'd have to say, I think in recent years, though, the gap has certainly closed from what Andy's sort of talking about. The finances that have been spent to keep players of quality in the state as well. I think, well aware, as you know, down in Melbourne, a lot of Queenslanders involved in the top clubs there.
Well, if you had a state of origin competition for the NPL, I think Queensland would be right up there. All right. It's not a question of the players produced, but more trying to keep them in their home state. As Orgler comes forward on the break. Pinpoint switch out to Ryan Fuchs. He's got Demi in the middle and 2 at the back post. Fuchs pokes it through the gap. Demi couldn't keep his feet and it trickles out for a goal kick.
It just shows you the threat of Sydney Olympic on the counter-attack as well. Really what Moreton City have to be careful of. Orgler, wonderful crossfield pass there to Fuchs. Does well, 1v1, just can't get out of his feet here as we see in the replay. Really wants to go with his left foot rather than his right. And again, Demi similar, just couldn't get it out of his feet. And Moreton City managed to get it away in time and get the goal kick.
Visitors with plenty of possession so far. Smith. Arneson. Rush clearance from Bosniak. They pick a way through. Waddington has his pocket picked. And Cyrus Demi will turn on the afterburners. Still going Demi. He's got Amanda in the middle. Josh Hong arriving as well. The pass misses everybody. And Moreton City survive. Labano Haliti knows just how close they were to a second.
Yeah, and we talk about Queenslanders. Cyrus Demi, former Brisbane Roar player, showing his electric pace here, you know, winning that ball back off Waddington. The youngster just doesn't get out of his feet enough, does he really, to go on his own. In the end, the ball gets away from him that much that he has to look across the goal for Armanda. I would have liked to have seen him try and get that out of his feet and go himself. Still yet to score in this competition.
Had a pretty good return in the league this season. 13 goals for Cyrus Demi. Hasn't always been a guaranteed starter, though, when it comes to the Australian Championship. He's benched for the opening round against South Melbourne at Lakeside. Labano Haliti now trying to play both his number 9s in the same team. Hong. Is he impeded? Yes, says Jock Quartermain. And Arneson, a despondent shake of the head.
I think, as we can clearly hear again, Moreton City bench not happy with the first challenge before this one. And absolutely no question there. Harry Arneson gets a good chunk of the shirt there. A wonderful opportunity now for that delicious left foot of Orgler's to deliver this ball.
Don't bet against him having a go himself. It's an outlandish distance, but we've seen Ali Orgler do some incredible things already. Championship's top scorer stands over this one. And he does try and cross for a teammate, and it's curse of the commentator just as we're talking him up. A very underwhelming final ball.
We need to stop doing that, don't we?
Ali, I promise I'll...
That's so frustrating, though, even from a coach's head perspective. Put my head on at the moment as we stop for the drinks break. Look, all in all, like we talked on, Moreton City Excelsior have controlled, most parts of this game, but as it is at the moment, Sydney Olympic are very, very happy just to sit in that sort of mid-block, narrow their wingers off in Orgler and Fuchs as well, which makes it heavily difficult for Moreton City to actually play through the lines, which is what they want to do when they invert Kojima inside with Murai, get them on the ball, because that's key for Moreton City and how they like to play and their successes from that, and sort of playing that false nine in Scott, who likes to come as well, and then making those runs from late and beyond from Murai. They've not really been able to get in that final third of Sydney Olympic yet, so happier of the two. Undoubtedly Sydney Olympic at this point. Moreton have to do something now to try and open them up.
Well, let's get some insight from the coaches themselves. Before the game, we caught up with Moreton City Excelsior head coach Cam Miller. Let's hear what he had to say about the previous meeting with Sydney Olympic.
We did learn a lot because we were very good in that game across a lot of phases of the game, but we missed some moments, important open space moments, transitions. They got some very dangerous players, Olympics, so we've worked hard through the week to make sure we nullify that as much as possible. We believe in our football, and if we can get to a high level again today in possession, we're confident.
Cam Miller not taking a backward step. As we get ready to resume off the drinks break. As well here from Labano Haliti as well.
Yeah, look, again, we went up there and we showed a good team performance, and today we'll need more than that. We'll need individuals to step up, and I think we have enough individuals to decide the game.
Labano Haliti, best of luck.
Labano Haliti, aware of his team's individual quality, as long as they get the basics right. Players like Ali Orgler and, as we've seen, Gloria Amanda have the ability in their boots to deliver the killer blow. You saw there, Moreton City playing out from the back, and a sharp intakes of breath, I'm sure, on their bench and in the commentary booth here as they came close to yet another turnover.
Yeah, it's exact same pattern of play that led to the goal. This time having success, though, playing through the triangle to get out.
Make their way through the Sydney Olympic press this time. Scott for Kojima. Anderson to deliver. Courtney Perkins drifting in from the right flank to arrive at the back stick. The ball never arrived from the boot of Jack McAnally.
I know we're only 25 minutes in, but I just wonder, what's going through that man's head. Cam Miller there in terms of looking at his bench. And Andy Pangeli obviously got a brace last week. And just trying to get into that final third. And if they're going to cross balls like that late on, you can fully expect Andy Pangeli to come on and have his say in this game. Potentially.
Andy Pangeli boasts a truly ridiculous goal-scoring record in Queensland. Kojima feeds the ball out wide. Courtney Perkins, the return ball for Kojima, and he was just off balance. Ball bobbles up on him, and he fires into the stands behind the goal.
Well, that's excellent play from Moreton City. That's exactly what their strengths are, getting into that final third and finding the likes of Kojima or Murai. It was Kojima this time. He just couldn't find the target. Wonderful first touch, though, to take it past the defender there. But skies it high and wide.
Now it's Sydney Olympics' turn to flirt with danger off their own goal kick. Murphy. Waddington. Drag back from Sayers. He lost his footing for a moment and it recovers. Murai. McInally. Sliding in was Hong. Oh, it almost drifted through perfectly for Ryan Fuchs, and it might now, but Fuchs is offside. Just couldn't get back into an onside position in time, the New Zealander.
Just when they've been pressed at certain times, Moreton, that's when Sydney Olympic have had their success.
Scored 9 goals in his first 10 games for Sydney Olympic after joining in the window from Northern New South Wales NPL. Scoring touch has rather deserted him in recent weeks. Ryan Fuchs did have opportunities last week against South Melbourne, 2 one-on-one chances with Javi Lopez. The veteran Spaniard was up to the challenge. Nicely killed by Clark to cushion it for Gloria Munda. And one back by Moreton City. Scott, and then unleashed from distance by Seita Murai. Too many blue shirts in the way. Let's go down to the touchline and check in with Adrian Archuli.
Yes, perched right between both coaches, and yeah, Scotty, I know you coach up against Mr. Miller, but yes, I've hearing a lot coming from the Moreton City bench so far. It's quite interesting. They've got the iPad for the video analysis. Scotty, did you have anything like that this year? But it's quite an impressive setup they've got. Got the video analysis happening. Did you have something like that this year?
I think my eyes said enough for me, Adrian. Quite frankly. There's nothing I can see on a video that's going to change anything. Not instantly.
No.
But
no, it's quite interesting seeing...
yeah, it's becoming more and more a thing, though, for most parties, you have to say. It leads to, obviously, the decisions like that have been made, though. It gives you a replay of that and something to go to the fourth official to as well.
I just find it interesting seeing the qualified clubs, the foundation clubs, and seeing the levels of sort of professionalism in a sense that they've brought to the table as well. So it's quite interesting for me as an observer seeing the differences of the qualified teams and what they're to the table. But very impressive so far. I think Moreton's going to really benefit from going into the running with the breeze in the second half. There's quite a strong southerly blowing across here, and that's really benefited Olympic so far with a lot of their through balls. Obviously getting Aguilar 3 a few times down the right, and it's really helping them in their transition. So I think Moreton will benefit from that in the second half. So I know that's not going to come up on their iPad. I wonder if they've got some weather analysis as well and what the detail is. But I'll try and get some more insight, Scotty, for you. But also, I know you've probably got some competition for the best dressed coach in Queensland by the looks of it as well. He's got a very strong black ensemble, white shoes. I think you might have some competition up there, Scotty.
Well, none whatsoever, because he's a coach and I'm not anymore. So he's the best one for sure, Adrian.
At least by default. Thanks, Adrian. As we prepare for a Moreton City long throw. Decent distance on it. Wozniak was onto the loose ball, concedes a corner.
Talking a little bit more about Moreton City and through this championship as well, they've had to sort of change their style a little bit without having a proper number 9 as well, and Joe Scott leading the line throughout majority of this competition. No Zach Kiapol, who disappointingly done his cruciate before the end of the Queensland season, and a huge miss for them as well.
Scott has been entrusted with corner duties. Can't beat the first man this time. Mentioned Zach Kiapol. 10 goals before doing his ACL. I've seen him travelling with the team, putting together some social media videos, so he's still staying involved despite his injury. When Scott was injured during the NPL Queensland season, they had to stick Seita Murai up top, so there have been some makeshift options there. As Courtney Perkins breaks onto this through ball. It's come back off Courtney Perkins and behind for a goal kick. He can't believe that.
It was a lovely challenge from Hong there. Last-ditch challenge. Definitely comes off the back of him for me. As we'll see here in the replay. Just comes off the backside of Courtney Perkins. And a really good call from the referee.
Looks spot on the replay as we've got an injury issue.
Be interesting to see what this is, whether or not it's just from his stretch out from the challenge itself or when he planted that ankle.
It's Josh Hong who's struggling.
Right.
Maybe some blood coming from the mouth. Maybe he just needed a drink. Doesn't look like it's a patch-up job. Contact to the face here. Doesn't look like it.
No.
Maybe earlier in the piece. It's a warm day out there at Kogarah. Viewers at home, all the fans sitting in the near side grandstand, which isn't on your screen. And Scott goes to the byline, and it's turned behind rather nervously by Connor O'Toole.
It's a great run in behind, wasn't it? Lovely little ball. I think it was from Kojima. First time we've seen Moreton City sort of get in behind Sydney Olympic there.
Joe Scott is roaming across the front line wherever he can find space. Talked about Ali Orgler's goal record. Joe Scott's not far off. 3 for him, including that brilliant free kick against Broadmeadow Magic last week. 2 goals on the opening date. Yet to score against his NPL Victoria or New South Wales opponents, though. Scott to deliver. Good shape on it. There's a crowd of players at the near post, and then it's volleyed goalwards. And Keitatsu Kojima was certain it took a touch on the way through.
Just for a second there, I thought they were appealing for a handball. Potentially, maybe Declan Smith is.
Well, it's going to be a corner anyway. I think they were appealing for a handball, Scott. Have a change of corner taker anyhow.
Work set piece potentially coming.
It's going to be Kojima. Short routine. Change of angle for Scott. Out to Morai. Morai drifts it in. It's the captain, Smith, hurling himself at it. Now Sydney Olympic come away. Oh, and the ball's been allowed to trickle through for Cyrus Demi. He's got Amanda in support. Gloria Amanda to the back post! Oh. And it's 2 for Sydney Olympic and 5 in the championship for Ali Orgler. He scored in every single game.
Well, what a wonderful finish that is. When the ball's crossed from Amanda, I'm just thinking it's too far. It's got too narrow for him to finish from that angle. But Orgler once again comes up trumps for Sydney Olympic and roofs it into the top of the net with Foster absolutely no chance. A sucker punch, sucker blow for Moreton City from the corner, from a straight counter-attack moment.
That's some finish from an acute angle.
It's an absolute fantastic finish, Josh. You know, just to get there, he plants himself before he even takes the shot. He goes to ground. And from that angle, to find the net, what a wonderful finish that is. And absolutely no chance for Foster in goal.
Ali Orgler can't stop scoring.
Well, Moreton will be hugely disappointed they didn't stop that counter-attack in the middle of the play there with the crossfield pass. I think it just gets past Arneson, just can't, get his feet right to try and intercept that pass. And from there, Demi picks it up. And then the rest, as we know, was all Orgler from there.
Sayers. Morai. Will there be an instant reply here from Moreton City? Courtney Perkins, twice blocked. No whistle from Quartermain. Demi too strong. Amanda has Orgler on his right and doesn't put enough on the pass. And his stand-in captain is furious. The game really stretched now. And Morai is offside. Oh, it's just end to end. It's like a basketball game at the moment.
Yeah, once again, Sydney Olympic on that counter-attack. Hugely, hugely dangerous with Fuchs and Orgler, Amanda, Demi, all playing their parts. Just look at this one here. Yeah.
There would have been a hint of controversy about that one as well if Sydney Olympic had gone on to score.
He's let a lot go. That's what I would say today. He's been consistent in that manner, but a lot of them have been let go against Moreton City.
He is an NPL Victoria referee, Scott, and that's what I find in the Victorian competition. It's very much the let it flow directive. It's almost like watching a Premier League game nowadays. You can get away with almost anything.
Yeah, I know, but there has to be a reality sometimes, though, as well. Sayers' eyes are on that ball. For me, 99 times out of 100, you get that called. Just like the free kick, the goal originally. For me, looking at it, as someone who's bipartisan in this, that's a foul all day long. There's no contact on the ball, just contact with the man coming through him. Once again, similar situation there and no foul given.
I guess the referee would argue it was shoulder to shoulder, but does the position of the ball negate that?
Of course he's in front. Sayers is in front.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, yes, there's an argument. If I'm playing and I'm Cyrus Demi, which I have been a centre forward, yes, I would say play on. However, though, if you're watching it, the reality is you're giving a foul more times than not there.
Scott Morai has to double back. Still get it forward as far as Murphy. Not a bad shape on the ball in. Courtney Perkins couldn't do much with it.
It's good play from Moreton there. You just feel, though, when they get in those positions and they're crossing balls, it's kind of a question of who are they crossing to. You know, such a sort of smaller side as well. Joe Scott not an out-and-out number 9. Morai and Kojima, you know, very dynamic in and around that box, looking to play little combinations like this.
Threatening here again. Kojima couldn't force it through the gap. Smith for Murphy. Arneson. Morai was wrong-footed by the pass. Well, you mentioned crossing to smaller targets. When you're up against Teng Kuol and Samuel Boschniak, you are going to look pretty small regardless.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting team talk for Cam Miller and his staff at half-time, what they do, what they need to change to get back into this game. If they don't before half-time here.
Clark. Oh, great footwork from Seth Clark. Skips away from the challenge and finds his countryman Fuchs. Threaded through for Demi! Brilliant save, the follow-up. Oh, saved again by Foster. Absolutely brilliant. Nathan Foster to the rescue for Moreton City Excelsior.
Well, if we're looking for save of the week, potentially we've just found it right there. Wonderful double save to keep his team in this one. Firstly from Demi, and then the follow-up, I think it was from Fuchs, was it? Lovely, lovely left hand there. We see this again. Gets out really, really quickly and gets his right hand to it.
Keep his trailing arm high there when he's already going to ground to spread himself. It's very impressive.
Yeah, potentially for a big lad, which he is, Nathan Foster. Huge wingspan, though, which does help as a keeper. But to get up off the ground for such a big fellow like that as well, short space of time, get that second save. A wonderful effort.
That's why you see the goalkeeper coaches doing all those drills in training, getting up from a prone position, quick recovery. He's not been without his critics, Nathan Foster, in the opening weeks of this Australian Championship. Copped the halfway line goal from Manny Agwek. Last week against Broadmeadow Magic was caught off his line again, and even in round 1 threw one in against the Magic away from home at Magic Park. Those in NPL Queensland do rate him really highly, and we've just seen why. Kojima. The outstretched leg of Ten Kwol blocks his path forward. Clark looking for Fuchs. Fuchs just tripped over the ball. It's McAnally to recover. Sydney Olympic win it back anyway. Looking nicely here. Orgler. Two arriving in the box. Ali Orgler with the flashy skills. Orgler just too high for his teammate at the back post.
It's a wonderful play again from Orgler. As soon as he gets that ball and he's in those 1v1 situations, his eyes light up. So do mine as well. It's like, go on then. What you got for us this time? A lovely little Cruyff inside the box. He's not afraid to go either way as well, which is an absolute defender's fullback's nightmare. Just the final delivery a little bit lacking there, though.
It's like Ryan Fuchs is a little worse for wear.
We've seen him sort of pull up on the ball earlier there. It just looks a little bit sticky out there as well.
Can be tough in the heat.
Yeah, early kickoff. No water on the field.
If you do water the pitch, it'll be dry in about 5 minutes. O'Toole for Clark. Little shimmy away from traffic, and he's past two here. Seth Clark, that is brilliant. Amanda in the middle. And the flag was up for offside. It wouldn't have counted. Seth Clark so close to the assist of the season in the Australian Championship.
Lovely little pirouette to start it, then drop of the shoulder to get past the second one. And it is a lovely delivery. Just Armanda finding himself in the offside position.
Dazzling from Seth Clark. He's had a bit of A-League buzz around him after his performances in New South Wales this season. Another one who's come from the Northern New South Wales NPL, Edgeworth Eagles. New Zealand has spent time in the college system in NCAA Division 1 with Liberty Flames. He's got a bit of international experience under his belt. Now dazzling across the other side of the Tasman. Again, another one who impressed during the NPL campaign, but hasn't always been a guaranteed starter in the Australian Championship. Given his chance today to start in midfield, and he seems to be repaying Labano Haliti's faith. Chance on here for Joe Scott, who'll get it onto his left, in off the posts! Joseph Scott with his fourth goal of the Australian Championship campaign, and it is a quite brilliant finish. Out of nowhere, Moreton City Excelsior have a lifeline.
It's an exquisite finish, Josh. But one as well, if you're Sydney Olympic, take nothing away from the finish. But if you're Bosniak, you know he's all left foot. Do not let Joe Scott come back on that left foot, or else he will punish you just exactly like that. And he gets a lovely kiss off the inside of the post in the far corner there. And like you said, fourth goal of this tournament. And he's really turning on and gets his team back into this game. What a wonderful time to score as well, just before half-time.
Well, it's a shootout between two of the competition's top scorers. Orgler on 5, Scott on 4. And have a look at this.
You see, Bosniak just gets himself tied all upside inside out there. You've got to really show him back on that right foot of his, because you know if he gets in there, he's deadly. And he certainly showed you there.
Game on at Jubilee. Orgler to answer back. Well, telegraphs it for Kojima. Sayers. Now Murphy. Foster opts for the short one. Poor layoff from Lachlan Sayers, concedes the corner. Sydney Olympics high press. Once again causing difficulties for Moreton City.
When they've got it right, they certainly caused Moreton huge problems on that press.
An absolute treat for the neutral this afternoon. It has been an open first half, to say the least. Well, this side's going hell for leather.
There's never a dull game with Moreton City, has there? There certainly hasn't been in this competition thus far. There's been goals at either end in all games.
A draw would just about do them today as well. Orgler onto the back stick. Foster punched, it didn't clear. Oh, we're going to have to stop the game for a head injury. Well, there was a lot of traffic at that back stick. You wager it might be a bit of friendly fire from Foster coming for the punch. Jackson Courtney Perkins, the man struggling with that head knock. He's in his second spell with the club, Courtney Perkins, after joining in the window from Avondale. Used to be playing just about up top today. He's a utility man. He was playing right back for most of the NPL Victoria season for the Avengers.
Yeah, he can play in numerous positions. He started off as a winger in his first spell at Moreton. Came down to Port Melbourne, I believe, as well, Josh, before Avengers, wasn't it? Played sort of played on that left wing at times as well.
There's a reunion at Port Melbourne with Adam Piddick. Played him either side of the front three or even as a wing back in that 3-4-3 system. He's such a versatile option to have. Sydney Olympic will get it back, and Orgler sends it in immediately. And there's a nightmare moment for the goalkeeper there as Amanda heads wide.
Goes to your point earlier on, he was caught in absolute no man's land there, Nathan Foster, coming for something that just wasn't there for him. Slightly fortunate.
Seen the best and worst of Nathan Foster this afternoon already. The double save to save Moreton City's bacon, and then some really unsure work off his line off crosses. Waddington. Scott dropping deep. Down the left flank now. Sayers just stabs it out to McAnally. And they're caught in the middle of the park again. It's Seth Clark taking over and picking out Cyrus Demi. Demi goes for the early shot. It's easily blocked by Waddington. They keep turning the ball over in that exact area.
Again, Clark there, wonderful press.
Now it falls for Fuchs. Fuchs wants it on his right. And the whistle's going to go the other way with Jock Quartermain deciding that Ryan Fuchs caused the contact. And he's going to award the yellow card and play the halftime whistle at the same time. So Ryan Fuchs into the book and the players into the change rooms after a hotly contested and highly controversial first 45 minutes at Kogarah. It has been everything you'd want out of an Australian Championship game so far, and Sydney Olympic lead thanks to Ali Orgler. The score at halftime is Sydney Olympic 2, Moreton City 1.
Ali Orgler, 5 in 5, mate. You just can't stop scoring.
I mean, as an attacker, that's the most thing that you want, getting consistency in their games. If you're not consistent, then that doesn't mean much. So I try to do what I do every week, get a goal in, help the team out. At the end of the day, individual performances help me, of course, as an individual. But ultimately, I want to get the win. So we want to make it out of the group. So it's important for us to get the win.
And you don't do it easy, do you? Another great finish, this time less spectacular, but a very tough finish.
Yeah, pretty tight angle, but I saw the keeper was closing the bottom angle, the bottom corner, pretty good with his foot. He's got longer limbs. So I was like, look at the top net, and usually they're the hardest to save. It's hard for them to get up, so I was like, let me put it there, and it happened.
Talk us about that first 45, absolutely killing them on the counter-attack. Do you feel you've got to keep that approach, or what's got to change in the second?
No, of course, we're playing as a counter-attacking team, so it's working today. It's worked every other week. We're just defensively, we have to be a bit more sharper and a bit more controlled, so that we don't end up getting goals copped in the last minutes of the game or last minutes of the half. That changes momentum, so we have to make sure we're focused and shift their game back to our way.
And just lastly, you've had a few last-minute goals you've conceded in the past. How do you make sure that doesn't happen today?
I mean, those are the 1%ers that we always talk about in the change rooms or in training. The boys end up slacking off. I don't know what it is, maybe fatigue. I don't know if it's lack of focus, but we have to make sure we turn that around, and we could have had many more points for go our way, but that's football, so we've got to move with it.
Ali, huge 45. Best of luck, mate. Cheers.
Ali Orgler is your top scorer in the Australian Championship, and he has added his 5th for the campaign from an acute angle to give Sydney Olympic a half-time lead. They pulled one back late through Joe Scott, but as Adrian Archuli alluded to there, absolutely killing Moreton City on the counter-attack, Scott.
Yeah, well, they got a wonderful start, didn't they? Maybe referee assisted potentially with that one, but they all count when the referee says they do, and it's a lovely finish from Armanda to get them kick-started. Just a wonderful start that they wanted after that disappointing result after leading for so long last week. And then we see the second one, Armanda being the provider this time for Orgler. Orgler from that hugely tight angle we've just heard from him on commentary. He's seen that Foster was coming across and he was able to roof that to the top of the net. Such a tight angle, and even going the ground at the same time. That's a hard technique to do, as we see from the great back angle there, and made his side 2-0. But quick response, wasn't there, Josh?
Yeah, beautiful step inside from Joe Scott, and he's making a habit of this. Goals from long range with his left boot. He scored from a free kick last week, this time from open play, and you cannot give him any space on that left peg.
No, you can't. And I just think as well, like looking at the replay there, Clark as well could have helped Bosniak out just by getting a little bit lower. You know, not allowing Scott to come inside, but like I've talked about in the commentary, you allow Scott to come inside on that left foot, he does wonderful things, and we've seen it again today.
Well, the thing that stands out to me about the shot count being pretty level, Sydney Olympic with more efforts on target, but Moreton City with 12 fouls to Sydney Olympics 2. You feel the whistle's gone their way in the first half, Scott?
Well, I don't like to say that. Maybe just a couple of, the major decisions you have to say that you'd be disappointed if you're Cam Miller and Moreton City at this time. But they're still in this game, all to play for. What's really going to be challenging for Olympic, they've exerted a lot of energy in that first half. They've not had as much of the ball as Moreton. And when they go and press a lot, Fuchs is coming very, very narrow, trying to, get into that middle to try and, press that overload that Moreton City have. You just wonder if they can keep that up for another 45 minutes, or do Moreton then expose that and get in between the lines a little bit more, where the likes of Morai and Kojima can get in there and try and hurt them a little bit more.
Well, in the second half of our doubleheader, we've got Broadmeadow Magic visiting Lakeside to face the team top of Group A in South Melbourne. You can see the weather conditions very different this afternoon, but let's check in with the head coach of Broadmeadow Magic, Jim Kresnar, who spoke to Joey Lynch a few moments ago.
Here today, Jim. How does that affect your plans for the contest?
It does affect it in terms of we want to obviously see how the conditions are in which we're out here at the moment, and just trying to adjust a few things accordingly based on the conditions.
And potentially a do or die game today. You'll know going out into the pitch. Do you let the players know? Do you lean into that, or do you try?
Just to focus on the game and making sure we get a good outcome as well. Whether the results go our way, it's more importantly just the pride of the club and the team as well.
And what lessons can you take from your previous game against South?
Oh, look, it was a disappointing day for us. We were in the game until the send-off, and it's just making sure that we stay with 11 players.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, the tipping 11 players on the park might be the issue for Broadmeadow Magic, judging by last week. But on the other side, the second half coming up at Cogra. Sydney Olympic leading Moreton City by 2-1. Do not go anywhere. Sydney Olympic with the advantage at halftime at Jubilee Stadium. Gloria Amanda with the first, Ali Orgler with the second, and Cam Miller was not a happy man. But Joe Scott's reply gives Moreton City Excelsior a glimmer of hope heading into this second half. They really only need a draw to give them the best chance of progression on the final match day. Let's check in on the temperature on the sideline with Adrian Archuli.
Making their way out here for the second half here at Jubilee Stadium, and what a 45 we've just had, and what a 45 we have ahead of us, because this is massive in who decides who gets out of Group A here. And Moreton City, they've given themselves a lifeline here. Joseph Scoff, what a finish before half time, and if they can turn that around here and get a win, I tell you what, they're going to break the hearts of the Olympic fans. It's a small crowd, but there's lots of chance of Olympic here behind us. So a big 45 coming up here. Really interested to see what happens here for Olympic and their counter-attacking style, because the Breeze now, they're running into a strong southerly, but Ali Orglar, as they come out behind me here, he's just been unstoppable. 5-5, and we'll see what happens here, because I tell you what, there's a lot to play for.
Thank you, Adrian. Josh Parrish here alongside Scott McDonald in commentary. Well, we heard Ali Orglar's interview at half-time. He was quite anxious about his side not coughing up another lead, Scott. What does that say about the confidence he has in the rest of his teammates? Because he's been doing the business, but they just haven't been able to keep the goals out at the other end.
Yeah, I think it's just a collective thing throughout the whole team itself, as we see Olympic making a change. But I think as well, obviously, the disappointment off the back of losing that game against South Melbourne, being, like I said, in control for big pieces of that game as well and playing exceptionally well, then to concede that second goal was hugely, a heartbreak to them. I guess they're one of their biggest rivals as well, you have to say as well. So, but like Adrian touched on there, certainly all to play for here in this second half at the business end of this competition for both sides now. A draw, like you said earlier, for Moreton would more or less put them through, you would have to say, if South Melbourne do the business against Broadmeadow later on. And Sydney Olympic looking to get all three to try and put some pressure going into that final game and being on level points with Moreton.
Well, we've seen that change come through, and Ryan Fuchs was looking a little lame heading into half-time, and he picked up the yellow card as well. So on comes Adam Parkhouse, who is usually their skipper. He's been dropped to the bench for the last couple of games, but a vastly experienced campaigner in his 6th season with the club, and offers, still at his 32 years of age, blistering pace down the flank. So Sydney Olympic, for their sake, hopefully won't miss the influence of Ryan Fuchs too much on this second half. Just about ready for kick-off here in the afternoon sun. We've had a change for Moreton City, Excelsior as well. Another veteran coming onto the park in Chris Marr. He's over 200 appearances in NPL Queensland. And there's the coach, Cam Miller, deep in conversation with his lieutenant, Dave Harris, who was part of the coaching team under Adam Piddick that won the double in 2015, so he's got years of experience to lean on.
The referee last out.
Well, we're hearing from the touchline that the referees are having issues with their comms equipment, which is why we've had a delay in kickoff for the second half. They are all wired up to each other these days. Sometimes there are some gremlins in the system. Jock Quartermain is set to go, and so are we. It's all on the line in the second half as Sydney Olympic kick us off. They need to win today. They need to hold on to this 2-1 advantage to give them the best chance of progression through Group A. Moreton City just need a draw to keep Sydney Olympic at arm's length. It'll be a 3-point advantage and a goal difference advantage heading into the final day as they face South Melbourne. Could be an advantage for Moreton City facing South Melbourne on the final match day, given that they've already qualified.
Yeah, it'll be interesting as well to see how South Melbourne go today. If there's many changes to the squad now that they've qualified for the next phase, give some of their bench players more opportunity for some minutes.
Well, Sinisa Kahadzic alluded to as much in his post-match interview last week at this very venue. He said that the 4 wins would give them opportunities to rotate and give other players a run. They've got a deep squad, South Melbourne, so it might be a weakened South that Broadmeadow Magic come up against this afternoon.
Yeah, the conditions down there as well look very interesting. As did Joey's gloves in that interview as well, I have to say.
We're rugged up in Melbourne.
I knew there was a reason I moved to Queensland.
Contrasting conditions and playing styles here. As Amanda takes over, looking for his second. Instead, he lays it off to Parkhouse.
Oh.
Can someone turn it in? Hong into
my
the side netting.
goodness.
Demi couldn't convert either. And the former Moreton City player fluffs his lines in front of goal.
Again, Chris Marr caught cold from that ball from Nathan Foster just coming on the field. But Sydney Olympic, how do you not score?
Well, the shot from Hong was at an acute angle in the end.
Yeah.
But really, Cyrus Demi should be putting that on target. He had more time than he knew. Here's Demi again.
Caught a little bit flat-footed there for me in terms of the replay showing there.
Zoricic. Parkhouse to cross. Straight to Kojima. Arneson clears. There's a 3v2 if that falls Moreton City's way, but Bosniak should deal with this. To keep it in play. Smartly done, wins a throw.
Done well there after Quoll went to win the initial challenge. Out of position. Look, there might have been an opportunity for Moreton there on the counter. But yeah, look, Moreton getting caught once again, trying to build up from the back. And if anything, I think Armando just holds on to it a little bit too long for Parkhouse there, who's just come on the field of play. Would have probably liked it a little bit earlier in the piece to maybe even take a touch and finish. But a good save with the foot from Nathan Foster, and no takers on the second phase.
Kojima's ball in. Courtney Perkins is waiting. Oh, what a miss.
We've just had another wonderful chance. Courtney Perkins starting off in that 9 position at the beginning of this second half. Beautiful delivery there from Kojima on his weaker foot, you have to say, if he has one. And it's there for the taking. All he needs to do is hit the target. And I think Moreton go equal 2-2 there. He blazes it over the bar. Really great start to the second half.
Jackson Courtney Perkins will be having nightmares about that one if Moreton City are on the wrong end of the scoreline today. What a golden chance. Massive openings at both ends in the first 4 minutes of this second half. This game is appointment viewing at the moment. There seems to be a chance on goal every minute or two. Both teams going hell for leather, leaving all sorts of gaps in defence. With the chances we've had today, Scott, it could be 4-all.
It could be. And like I said, whenever Moreton City or Sydney Olympic for that matter are playing, there's certainly lots of goals and entertainment in these games. Scoring goals, conceding goals.
Joey Scott's going to line up for a long throw. Do his best Max Mickler impression. Decent distance on it, headed away. Scott off the chest, or was it an arm?
I think you can see by his body language there, certainly came off his arm as it's just bounced, trying to take it. Yeah, quite clearly.
Replays incriminating. And a wry smile from Joe Scott. He usually has his signature celebration when he scores a goal, puts the goggles on, but much more demure reaction to pulling that goal back before half-time, just trundling straight back to the halfway line to try and get the game underway as quickly as possible. Orgler's been left in space here, and he's a dangerous proposition even from that range. Nathan Foster turns it around his near post.
Had to be lively in the goal there. Whenever this guy's winding up on that left foot. It's a good strike, good save. Well matched from Nathan Foster there.
He's got 5 goals. Hasn't scored 2 goals in a game so far. If there's one criticism you can lay at Ali Oglu's feet, which is probably an unfair one. Moreton City away on the break after a botched set-piece routine. And is that going to be a yellow card?
It is. It's for Ogler. It's a poor one in my mind. He's matching the run there and just didn't want to continue to match it.
Michael goes into the book. No complaints. He knew he had to take one for the team.
But he's there, and Joe Scott's slowing down at that time as well, and what he needs to do is just keep him slowed down, not nibble like that. Because I think they had the numbers there, Sydney Olympic.
It's his second booking at the group stage. Another yellow card and he'll miss one. It's going to be Chris Marr over this set piece. They need his steadying influence at the moment. Marr's delivery is a good one. Off an Olympic head, it looked like. And the assistant referee agrees. Corner kick for Moreton City. Jack Gibson still sporting the cap. Old school look for the young Sydney Olympic custodian. Scott to take, he's been everywhere. Aiming for the back post this time. They get first contact on it. Gibson at full stretch. And Sydney Olympic survive. Scott. Kojima. Amanda. Risking it all.
He does well there, Amanda. For a split second there, I just thought Murai was going to get the other side of him.
It's well judged slide in the end.
When you're a centre forward in there, it gives you palpitations as a manager diving in inside the box. But his challenge was well timed.
An interesting background, Gloria Amanda. Half Tanzanian, but grew up in Canada. Played for the Vancouver Whitecaps second side. Was on their books. The MLS outfit. Most recently was playing for Para Hills Knights in South Australia. Going to be called back here.
I'm not quite sure you can call it back as late as that. You've allowed the second phase to go. And then Olympic have won the ball back fairly, and then you want to blow it back again. It's just, yeah, interesting.
I suppose advantage is always in the eye of the beholder and in the hands of the referee.
But he's given it, he's clear. He's there to make a decision now to make a good pass or not. Because he makes a bad pass, should the Olympic then get punished for that? No.
It's going to be O'Toole. Bosniak. Hong coughs it up. And then Scott got a touch and wishes he hadn't. So just to remind you of the stakes here, a Sydney Olympic win puts them level with Moreton City. Still be behind on goal difference as things stand. A draw takes it down to the final day with Sydney Olympic needing South Melbourne to do them a favour. And if Moreton City come back and win this, Sydney Olympic are eliminated on the spot and Moreton City are basically through, barring a Broadmeadow Magic miracle.
Well, as this game goes along, I think we're going to see even more entertainment. Josh, I don't see it staying like this.
Someone's going to have to risk it. And whichever team tries to play out of their own back third seems to be paying the price at the moment. There's been a lot of turnovers in those areas. Leicester goes for a longer switch of play, won by Zoricic. Let's go down to the touchline. Adrian Archuli, what have you got for us?
Well, lads, as a one-time winner of Save of the Week in round 2, I'm going to dub Courtney Perkins with the miss of the tournament so far. I cannot believe he missed that. I was standing right behind it, expecting the net to bulge, and ball went flying over, thick down to St George's Leagues Club. But unbelievable chance. This game has got absolute goals galore written all over it in this second half. Speaking to Cam Miller, he just said, look, we're just going to go for it. They don't want to settle for a point. They want to get the win and just get this sorted, get through the next stage. Olympic content. They know that goal just before half-time has given Moreton a lease of life, and they're really showing it so far. They should be level. It's really understated. You probably can't see it at home, but the impact of this breeze is really interesting. You'd think you're running, down a 50-metre hill the way it's benefited both teams in each half so far. But it's a slight breeze, but it's just enough to affect the play in terms of just those diagonals, those balls in behind. It's just putting defenders in two minds. Scotty would love this kind of, a defender just doesn't know what to do because you've seen it a few times so far. Just not sure whether to play out from the back or pump it long Olympic, and it's been really interesting. Labialides been quite angry at a few of his defenders about their indecisiveness. So, really set up here for a tantalising finish.
It's Mars ball in off the corner. Only as far as Kojima, and it's lofted safely into the hands of Jack Gibson in the Sydney Olympic goal. Well, Adrian Archuli had golden gloves awarded to him for Save of the Week. I'm not sure what you get for Miss of the Week. Leaden boots, maybe a pair of clogs. Seth Clark racing away and picking out Amanda. Wants to drift into the channel. Gloria Amanda goes for goal at a savable height. Nathan Foster repels the danger. The Olympic have a second bite at this attack. Demi with space to shoot. I thought he was fouled there. Just on the follow through perhaps. Is his standing leg taken out?
It's lovely play again from Clark. Demi just getting in between that lines. Nice little half turn. Disappointing finish, you have to say. Regardless of the contact or not, he'll be disappointed not to have found the target at least.
Just never really got hold of the shot. Spooned it over the bar. I'd be arguing that the contact caused that issue. Scott all the way through to the goalkeeper, overcooked pass. Here goes Sydney Olympic. Played their way through and finding Ogler on the right, checking back onto his left. Now picking out Parkhouse. Parkhouse to clip it to the back stick. And it's turned away from danger. Only as far as Ogler. Sliding in on Murphy, and he's got to be careful. He's already in the book. He kicks the ball away as well, and Moreton City are baying for a second yellow card. What a story it would be if the competition's star man so far saw red. Well, Moreton City Excelsior are going to go for the jugular here. Andy Pengelly on to replace Joe Scott, the goal scorer, who looks to be struggling a little bit.
Ogler can count himself a lucky boy there, kicking the ball away like that. He wasn't on a yellow.
With his 3 substitutes now, Moreton City. This is Parkhouse. Clark. Jinks onto his right, and Seth Clark with the strike always sailing over.
He just felt on his weaker foot from that distance. He's been very, very lively this game here. He's been very impressive so far. He gets into those individual runs.
Just shifts the ball so elegantly to beat his marker. That was an asset when you have a player in central midfield who can dribble like that.
Yeah, and a lefty as well. They always look better, the lefties.
There's something a bit magical about the Southpaws. Hong. O'Toole. Here's another lefty in Parkhouse, who's the wrong side of the last defender.
Very lively since coming on. A lot of ball down that left-hand side.
More of an old-fashioned, traditional winger. Chalk on his boots.
Well, when you've got 2 centre forwards in there, you want wingers like that. You enjoy wingers like that.
He bagged 7 assists in the NPL New South Wales campaign. Met some struggles with injury. Qual. Turn of pace to recover.
And there straight away, Andy Pengelly getting involved in the play. A little bit more direct from Moreton as well. Having a 9 on there, proper 9. Instead of, you have to say, I don't think Joe Scott would mind me saying that, more of a false 9.
His goal record stands at an astonishing 222 goals in 241 appearances in all competitions in his time in Queensland. First player to reach over 150 NPL Queensland League goals. Amanda lays it off for Parkhouse. Parkhouse!
Oh, yes.
It's 3. And Sydney Olympic could be resurrecting their quarterfinal hopes this afternoon. Off the bench and on to the score sheet for Adam Parkhouse, and it was never really in doubt.
Well, we've said he's been lively since he come on. And you have to say, from start to finish of that play, it was wonderful. Wonderful build-up play from Olympic here. Some composure, really, really nice little slip pass there from Armanda there as well. The overlapping run from Hong when Ogla gets the ball initially, plays it inside to Armanda, and Armanda, as cool as you like, he could have had a strike himself here from the edge of the box, but he picks out Parkhouse, and he's rewarded for his strike on goal. Little deflection as it goes through, probably helps evade Nathan Foster in the goal, and a long way back now for Moreton, you have to say, from here.
Could be the sealer. Moreton City attacking straight off the kickoff. Let's see what the decision is.
He gave the foul.
A late whistle from Jock Quartermain.
I don't think there'd be too many questions there, really.
Well, it looked a foul in live action.
I guess just when the referee takes a little bit longer than usual, it does lead to question marks for everyone, including us, what the actual decision was, if he was going to give a corner or not. As we see the changes now going to be rang in by Moreton.
It's going to be Luka Jankovic, who scored against Sydney Olympic last time out. Proved only a consolation. Dylan Meineke also summoned. Ma to float one in. Pengelly, the bounce was just too high for him. So he's sporting some strapping on that quad or hamstring. Here come the changes. So Jamie Waddington off. The 19-year-old replaced in a straight swap for his more experienced colleague, Dylan Meineke. Only by a year or two, though. He's the usual starter in that left central defensive position. And then the rangy Luka Jankovic comes on for Kaitatsu Kojima. So he'll provide some height, some directness, some aerial ability. Brother of Marko Jankovic, who plays in the heart of defence for South Melbourne and was turned inside and out by Ali Orgler last week. This one's starting to get a bit testy. Courtney Perkins pleading his innocence. And we'll go in for a drinks break with tempers running high and temperatures bubbling up as well. And what do you do here if you're Moreton City? They don't need to come back and win this game. If they got a point, it would be enough for them.
They just need to be careful now with the strength of Sydney Olympic on that counter-attack. And the likes of Demi, Orgler, Amanda, and now Parkhouse as well, a willing runner. And then Clark coming from deeper as well, and Hong, as we've seen, making late runs as well. There's certainly willing runners in that Olympic side, so it will be interesting. Moreton, probably second half here, have gone a little bit more direct than what they did in the first half, not wanting to get caught in that defensive third. Likely to be, but they have to find a way.
Here is the third goal. It has Sydney Olympic sitting pretty.
Yeah, it was just wonderful build-up. You know, Hong on the overlap there, getting forward. Orgler finding him. Then the cut back to Armando, who picks out Parkhouse there for a lovely... That's what he wanted the first time round, I think. A touch and a hit with the chance that came early in the second half. But he makes no mistake the second time round. And he'll be delighted with that. Like you said, Josh, not played from the start in this competition for Olympic. He'd be disappointed with that, being the captain of the club, but showing great leadership since coming on, though, and giving his side now, what you have to say, a huge buffer in this game.
An update in our live poll, which you can vote in. 69% think Moreton City are coming back to win this game. Well, the parochial Queensland support obviously out in force. Come on, Sydney
Absolutely.
Olympic fans, you're 3-1 up.
Good to see.
Scan the QR code there or head on over to the AustralianChampionship.com.au website and click on the Game Day tab to have your say. Well, it's an interesting conundrum here for Moreton City, Scott, because it's not just the result on the day that they have to worry about, it's also goal difference coming into play. Because now with this 2-goal margin, Sydney Olympic draw level with them and level on points. So goal difference could be a huge deciding factor on the final match day. If they cop 4 or 5 in chasing the draw, it could cost them. So the equation is really a delicate and complicated one for Cam Miller.
Yeah, it is. Look, but knowing Cam Miller and in terms of putting myself in those shoes or any other coach, I don't think you really think that way during, in game mode. All he's thinking and his team right now is to try and get back in this team. He has full belief in his team that they can do, and wants them to keep playing the way that he wants them to play. With that, trying to play in between the lines and be more expansive, get their fullbacks high and wide. And that's left them a little bit more exposed in those counter-attacking moments. But he'll continue to want that, if I know Cam Miller well.
Ma fancies a strike from way downtown. And then thunders into the challenge on Zoricic, and that's going to be a yellow card.
Interesting.
Bit of a hold me back scuffle.
Yeah, a bit of a laugh and a joke with everyone in the aftermath of it, but really unnecessary, to be fair.
Eventually, a slice of cheese will be directed in Chris Maher's direction. tackle again. Isn't so much a tackle as a hip and shoulder. Ball already gone.
Yeah, all eyes on man, not ball there. But no more than a yellow card, and let's get on with it, lads.
It seemed like there was any actual malice in the melee that followed, just everyone keeping up appearances, sticking up for their mates. Courtney Perkins with the nod down. Ma, Yankovic off the thigh, and Sydney Olympic were almost away.
I think at times I'm playing against Moreton and knowing Chris Marr and having a real good career there, it's kind of his way of trying to spark life back into his side as well and try and get them fired up. A little confrontation just to get them all alert again and go, come on, let's get going again.
Hails from Kingaroy, the peanut capital of Australia. Chris Marr, I'm sure he's hearing it from the peanut gallery at Sydney Olympic after that foul. Murai. Delivery into the box is picked off by Bosniak. He's looked pretty comfortable this afternoon, coming into the team for the first time. First time in this competition, that is. Joined mid-season from MacArthur. Going through his junior football at Sydney United. You can hear the home fans finding their voice. If you're wondering at home, the fans are all out of the sun on the near side grandstand. That far grandstand is not in use for the Australian Championship. Even if it was, I don't think anyone would be electing to sit out in the sun and watch this game. And there are the travelling supporters. Great to see the Excelsior fans getting down to support their team away from home. Home fans enjoying this one so far. Scott, I was looking at the records of teams travelling interstate in this competition. Maybe not as big a home advantage as you might think. 13 wins for the home sides, 5 draws, and 10 wins for the teams travelling across the border.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat within itself. It shows you, though, that the preparation from the teams going away from home has been excellent to this part, and the professionalism that's been taken upon from all the teams within this competition, which is a fantastic thing for these players as well. Just little things like even travelling the day before the game at times and staying overnight and getting a good rest, making sure eating the right things.
Factors like when you do your match day -1 session, how do you reactivate the players after they get off the plane?
I think the only one that's really been a huge advantage is obviously that Western Australian one, in Bayswater, and that's not me taking anything away from what they've done. They've been magnificent so far, but made it a real fortress and a hard place to go.
Oh, Hong's turned it over here, and Murai trickles one to the bottom corner, and it's clawed away by Jack Gibson.
Well, you say clawed, only just. It looked for a moment there that was just going to creep in. Not a lot of pace on it, but I think it takes him by surprise. Just there, he just can't see. I think he's unsighted, but he gets a lovely hand to it in the end.
It's a great save. It was a clever finish from Seita Murai. Didn't have time for the back lift. Just tried to place it. Ma flung it up straight into the head of Quoll. Trent Millard trying to get a shot away. Wouldn't sit for him. That was a painful block. The Sydney Olympic player who stood in the way of that thunderous strike from Damon Anderson, who's come on. Wozniak, who's down.
I think he just took one as he went up for the header on the edge of the box there to clear his lines for his team.
They've also copped one on the guts off the shot. Let's have another look. There it is. It was in the back, in fact, which can still take the wind out of your sails. So you're reflexively reaching for your lower back, Scott. And the Sydney Olympic home faithful enjoying a bit of traditional music in the break. And they've got every reason to be up and dancing with this scoreline. Haliti on the verge of a much-needed win. Keep their Australian Championship quarter-final hopes well and truly alive, heading into match day 6 against Broadmeadow Magic. Have to travel away from home for that one. They were beaten by Broadmeadow on their own patch. Shocking 3-2 turnaround. Excelsior have it all to do. Moreton. Chance on now, and that's handball. A massive shout for handball, and it will be paid. Teng Kuol with the outstretched arm, and Moreton City could be right back in this game.
Absolutely. For me, not seeing the replay, my initial thought was definitely handball.
Jock Quartermain was in no doubt. And Teng Kuol not really contesting the decision either. You can see it's outstretched from his body there, Stonewall.
Yeah, no question there. Great call from the referee. Just looking back before that though, when Seita Morai has the ball, it's too easy for Moreton there from a Sydney Olympic perspective, getting back into that left-hand side. It's him who's going to step up though.
Seita Morai takes on the responsibility, just as he did in stoppage time away to Broadmeadow in round 1. He was nerveless on that occasion. And Moreton City kickstart the comeback. Morai buries the spot kick. And Excelsior have a goal back. And it is game on again at Kogarah.
Certainly is game on. Calm as you like. No nerves there, Josh. Puts it away lovely. Puts his laces through it to the keeper's right. Nice and high. No chance for Gibson in the net.
Terrific spot kick from the Japanese playmaker. He now has his 3rd goal in the Australian Championship.
We've got an interesting last 10 minutes now.
I said earlier, a draw will put Moreton City in the box seat. Well, you can't help but think back to Ali Ogler's words at halftime. We have to concentrate more in defence. We can't be letting leads slip. We conceded too many late goals. Every time that Sydney Olympic look to pull away in this contest, there's always another sting in the tail.
I just think that's Moreton City and what Cam Miller's been able to build within their environment throughout the last, 3 years that he's been there, and knowing quite well that they're never out the game. They've always got a moment where they can, find a threat and a danger. They've done it again, and they're right back in this game once more.
Coming from behind against Broadmeadow Magic last week to win 5-1 after conceding the first goal. They coughed up a 2-goal lead.
Ooh,
that's a nasty challenge. And Ten Kwol could be in some trouble. He has to be careful not to get himself into further trouble with his reaction as Damon Anderson gets into it. It's all kicking off at Jubilee. The Moreton City players are absolutely furious with that challenge from Ten Kwol.
That's really unnecessary. You know, Declan Smith is the captain as well. He's got to get his players away. Never mind fighting the opposition. Let the referee make the decision now.
Jock Quartermain is going to take on the advice of his assistant referee who was close to the incident. He could swing it. There's no doubt that Kwol is going into the book for the challenge. But is there anything resulting from the melee?
He's put it back in his pocket. To show it again.
Quartermain reveals the yellow card in the direction of Ten Kwol. We knew that was going to happen. And then there's another card shown towards a Moreton City player.
I can only think that would be probably Anderson.
You'd have to think so.
Yeah.
Here's the tackle.
I think he misses him. We'll have to see that again from a closer one.
Doesn't look like there was too much contact with the studs. Certainly a booking.
I think if he does make contact with the studs, I think we're seeing a different colour.
Absolutely. Cyrus Demi's going to be substituted. He's going off on the far side. And on comes Michael Vackus, the match winner against Moreton City last time out. Will we see another luchador-inspired celebration if he finds the back of the net? He's a fan favourite here at Olympic. His uncle played for the club as a junior. It's in the blood. And he scored that decisive goal away at Perry Park. He went to the bench to fetch a wrestling mask. And probably the celebration of the tournament so far. Let's see what he's got in store for us. Amanda riding the challenge. The Canadian goes to the byline. Orgler. A little quieter in this second half, Ali Orgler. After that early booking. Hong. Oh, Josh Hong, brilliant, and he's collected. I thought there might be an advantage there. The referee saw fit to bring play to a halt immediately, and Harry Arneson is going to put the man in trouble.
Yeah, no questions there. He's fully committed to this one. Comes in very, very late.
Well, let's go down to the touchline. No better time to check in with Adrian Archuli. Adrian, tempers running hot.
Lads, I know we're being broadcast on SBS, but it's not time to repeat what I'm hearing on the sidelines. It's the middle of the day. The profanities are flying, to say the least, between the benches. A bit of back and forth, a bit of back in your box. So I'll keep it PG. That's as far as I'll go with some of the things I've heard. But yeah, you can really tell what's at stake here. This is the business end. You know, for Olympic, they know what's at stake here. But really interesting. I think Olympic have really struggled since Seth Green went off. Seth Clark, Seth Green, he's the actor. Seth Clark has been absolutely outstanding today. I can see why he's been linked with the Central Coast Mariners. Really impressive, but his absence since he's gone off with injury has definitely been felt by Olympic. But Moreton City, they're just going for it. They're going for the jugger. They want to get the point. They know what's at stake, so really set up here for a fascinating 5 minutes. But these brouhahas, they've been brewing because both teams, it's hot on the field. It's hot. It's just the guys just want to get amongst it every time there's a little scuffle.
Thank you, Adrian. Straight out to Arneson. Set piece to from Olympic came to nothing. Millard. Anderson. Hong a little untidy. And Luka Jankovic wins the free kick. It's going to be a nervy last few minutes for Olympic.
Yeah, they've just got to be careful. They don't get sucked in like last week, hanging on the edge of their box too much.
Discipline has not been a feature of this game, be it in the challenges or in the defending. Well, it was a good ball to the back post as well. And last touch off Courtney Perkins' goal kick. Three minutes to play plus stoppages. John Quartermain signalling that he will add this time on. So Olympic take their time fetching the ball. Jack Gibson having words with the ref. His first season with the club, Gibson. 2 spells of the Western Sydney Wanderers youth system. Attributes his goalkeeping prowess to his background playing cricket growing up. He wasn't always a goalkeeper. Started off as a target man up top, but when Anita rose for his school team, they said, you can catch the ball. You have a go between the sticks and the rest is history. Courtney Perkins. Hong wrestled to the deck. And Moreton City give away a cheap free kick again.
He's had a real industrious performance today, Hong. Worked ever so hard for his team. Done all the, can you say, the more unfashionable things throughout the game.
And they need that as well, Olympic. They don't have a great deal of protection in front of the back four in this system they play. Looks to me that Jack Armson has come on in midfield. We haven't seen much of him in the championship. Former man, Jack Armson, prefers to play further forward, but has found most of his minutes in a deeper role for Sydney Olympic this season and is pretty highly rated by observers in New South Wales. Barely featured in the championship so far. Coughed up by Moreton City. Armson finding Parkhouse. Here goes Adam Parkhouse. He'll go for goal and ripples the side netting. Another acute angle. There's a chance for Olympic to seal the deal.
Great chance, wasn't it? Just probably with the pass there, just taking a little bit too wide. And he can't get his foot around it after the first touch to try and go for that sort of fast stick. Let's try to sneak one in the near corner there.
Millard. Lay off from Jankovic. Murai. It's Jankovic to go down the line. They weren't on the same wavelength. You can see there are 11 shots on target for Sydney Olympic. They haven't had much of the ball, but they've created plenty in attack. Arneson. Murai flicks it up to himself. He can't keep it. Qual putting his head. Most players wouldn't. You need a brave central defender. 7 minutes of stoppage time. More than enough for Excelsior to get something here. Had a lot of stoppages in the second half. Injuries and melees and cards. 7 minutes, Scott, seems about right.
Yep. It's a long time as well for Moreton, who have to throw absolutely everything at this now.
For us watching, it's a treat.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you want 7 more minutes of this one? Murai, clever layoff. Jankovic. Mart across.
That's a goal.
Oh, what a save!
Oh.
The follow-up has to be in.
No.
The flag is up. It won't count for Moreton City. How on earth have they not scored?
Wow, we have to see a replay on that one, Josh. Firstly, though, it's a wonderful ball first time from Chris Marr here.
Well, he's onside from the initial attempt. It's a flying save. And then you can see Morai getting in his teammate's way. If he doesn't touch that, it's probably in the net.
Absolutely. And with the initial one, Morai just hits it too well. Hits it straight at Gibson, but Gibson spreads himself so wide to get a strong block on that. Incredible stuff.
He's going to be called upon here again, potentially, Jack Gibson, as Moreton City sling another ball into the box.
Oh!
And it's just flicked wide. Agonising for the Queensland Premiers. Andy Pengelly knows what a chance that was for a striker of his pedigree.
And you hear me get up on it because I know it's Andy Pengelly, and I'm saying this is hitting the target. This has to be a goal. This is meat and drink for him from that area.
What a chance.
He's made a career out of that. He'll be hugely disappointed he doesn't hit the target. And another let-off for Olympic.
Moreton City so close to a leveller that would just about see them through. Sydney Olympic living dangerously. There's still 5 and a bit minutes to play.
Well, we said we'd have drama at the end of this game. We certainly have.
It's been a barn burner at Kogarah. Qualification on the line. Olympic have never trailed this afternoon. Yet they find themselves teetering on the precipice. If they draw, next week is a long shot. Here goes Pengelly. He's got Morai in the middle. Defenders throwing themselves at it. Armson. Only as far as Pengelly. Marr caught on the ball. Cannons off Amanda and out for a Moreton City throw. What drama at Jubilee. Can Olympic hold fast against the barrage? Courtney Perkins couldn't get much on it. Start again through Millard. Charged down by Amanda. He's had a great game today, a goal and 2 assists. Clever flick. Courtney Perkins trying desperately not to give away the free kick. Marr. Anderson couldn't dig it out of his feet, and Vakis had no one ahead of him. He'll charge down Meineke, urged on by the crowd. Anderson. Anderson out to Millard. Collected by Parkhouse. Send it up the line and O'Toole couldn't keep it. Anderson for Morai. It's Saita Morai! And it's off Bosniak and out for a corner.
It's a great block. Not the first time Bosniak's done that today. Been there to get to the saviour of his side. There's just gaps everywhere for Olympic. Still playing in that 4-4-2 block. This late on. 2 up front.
They're clinging on by their fingernails here. 1 minute to play. Mars ball to the near post. It's 3-3. Luka Jankovic. Moreton City come back from the dead in the 7th minute of stoppage time.
Unbelievable stuff. Well, I said to you earlier on, didn't I? Cam Miller's not going to hold back. He's going to want his team to come back in this game, and they've done that. And the young man Jankovic with a wonderful header at the front stick. Unopposed, you have to say, but thoroughly deserved on the balance of play late on in this game. And Olympic once again just can't hold out a lead in this competition.
Well, he gave them a warning sign in the reverse fixture. So there's a yellow card shown off camera to Connor O'Toole, it looks like. Bit of afters following the goal. And more eyes going into the book as well. Well, that could spell the end of Sydney Olympics' Australian Championship hopes. Luka Jankovic scored against them in the reverse fixture. It only proved a consolation. They did not heed that warning today. Unmarked off the corner. It's full time. Oh no, it's not. My mistake. It's an offside flag. I've gone early there, Scott. Still the seconds tick down. We're in stoppage time upon stoppage time. If this result holds, Sydney Olympic need a miracle on match day 6. Moreton City have done it. A comeback for the ages. Oh, and it's all kicking off at Kogarah as the Sydney Olympic players just can't seem to accept what's just happened to them. What an incredible finish at Jubilee. Sydney Olympic cannot hang on to their 3-1 advantage as Moreton City Excelsior come back from the dead. The final score is Sydney Olympic 3, Moreton City Excelsior 3. Stay tuned for our post-game show. A lot to break down in this one. An extraordinary game of football that had everything, and they're still sorting out to do for the referees as Michael Backus lashes out after the final whistle. Goodness me, Moreton City Excelsior have just about done enough to secure their place in the quarterfinals. And we're off to a short break. Stay with us on the other side.